What's up, you friggin' geniuses? Alright, so in this video, I'm going to teach you how to multiply together any fractions. Okay, so I'm going to cover proper, improper, and mixed numbers in this video. And I promise you it's going to be pretty easy, okay? So let's get into it. So first example, we're going to do 2 over 5 times 3 over 5. Okay, so whether we have proper or improper fractions, whether the denominators are the same or different, it doesn't matter. All you do is multiply straight across. So you're going to multiply the top together and you're going to multiply the bottom together. All right, so what's 2 times 3? That's 6. What's 5 times 5? That's 25. So the answer is 6 over 25. Okay, pretty easy, right? So let's do another example. All right, this time what if we had an improper fraction times a proper fraction? Okay, so again, this is an improper, this is a proper. They both have different denominators. It doesn't matter. What's 7 times 2? That's 14. What's 4 times 5? That's 20. Okay, can we reduce this? Sure, both numbers are even, so they're divisible by 2, right? So we can divide the top and the bottom by 2. So what's this reduced down to? 7 over 10. Okay, but again, the main point, we just multiply straight across, all right? Multiply the top together, multiply the bottom together. That is it. Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward. So let's do something that's slightly different. All right, so what if I gave you 6 times 3/5? Okay, how would we do this? Well, 6, that's not a fraction, right? But how can we write any number as a fraction? Well, just put it over 1. All right, so we're just going to put a 1 right under it. Okay, and then what do we have? We're multiplying it times 3/5, right? 3 over 5. Now, what do? You just multiply straight across. So what's 6 times 3? 18. What's 1 times 5? 5. So your answer is 18 over 5. Okay, so what if in this case, right, let's use the whole number again, but instead of a fraction, what if we had a mixed fraction? All right, so let's do 2 and 2/3. Okay, so what do we do in this case? Well, we just saw in the last example, right? So this 5, if we want to turn it into a fraction, just put it over 1. Done. Okay? And then we're going to multiply it times this mixed fraction. But this mixed fraction, we have to turn it into just a regular fraction first. Or more specifically, an improper fraction. So how do you turn a mixed number into an improper fraction? Okay, so if you remember the quick way that I showed you, we're just going to multiply these two together, okay, and then we're going to add these two, okay, and then we're just going to put it all over this original denominator. Okay, so what's 3 times 2? That's 6. And then we're going to add 2, so plus 2. And we're just going to put that over this original denominator, which is 3. Okay, so what's 6 plus 2? Well, that's 8. And then keep the denominator, right? Okay, cool. So now we have our fraction, so that's what we're going to throw over here. So 8 over 3. Now again, what do? We just multiply straight across. So 5 times 8, that's 40. 1 times 3, that's 3. Okay, so our answer is 40 over 3, which is an improper fraction, right? But real quick, what if we needed this as a mixed fraction or a mixed number? Well, that's easy, right? Just to turn it back, all we have to do is divide. So we're going to do 40 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 4 once. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1, bring down the 0. 3 goes into 10, 3 times 3 is 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. Okay, and then we just have to sort this correctly, so this top number becomes our whole number, this remainder becomes the numerator, and this original denominator is still our denominator, okay? So 5 times 2 and 2/3 is equal to 40 over 3, or as a mixed number, it'd be 13 and 1/3. Okay, so the main point of this problem is if we have a mixed fraction, we need to turn it into just a regular fraction, okay? And then we can multiply like normal. Okay, so let's do another example. What if I had 2 and 2/3 times 4/5? Okay, well just remember, whenever you have a mixed fraction, we have to turn that into an improper fraction. So how do we do that? We multiply these two numbers, and then we're going to add that. And then we're going to keep the denominator. Okay, so 3 times 2, that's 6. And then 6 plus 2, that's 8, right? We're going to put that over this denominator right there, 3. Okay, so then we can rewrite this as 8 over 3 times 4/5, right? And then we just multiply straight across. 8 times 4 is 32, and 3 times 5 is 15. So this is 32 over 15. Okay, so now let's try two mixed fractions multiplied together with a twist. Okay, so what if I had 3.5 times 1 and 5/7? So again, we have to turn these into improper fractions, right? So we're going to multiply these two numbers and then we're going to add that on top, right? So this is 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, and we're going to put that over 2, right? Then we're going to multiply these two and then add that, right? So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. And we're going to put that over 7. Okay, so we have 7 over 2 times 12 over 7. So when you get to this point, you can say, hey, I got a 7 on top, I got a 7 on the bottom. I can cross those out. So then all I'm left with is a 12 divided by 2. And what's that equal to? 6. And then you're done. Okay, so let's do a couple negative examples, and then I think you'll be good. Okay, so what if I had 2/5 times negative 4/3? What does that equal to? Well, if you remember the very important rule of multiplying negative numbers, okay, when you have an even number of negative signs, your answer is going to be positive, okay? And when you have an odd number of negative signs, your answer is going to be negative. So how many negative signs do we have in this problem? Well, we just have the 1, right? And 1 is odd, right? So your answer is going to be negative. Okay, so now you can just multiply like normal. So what's 2 times 4? 8. What's 5 times 3? 15. So your answer is negative 8 15. Okay, so if I had negative 10 over 7 times negative 2 over 3, what would this be? So how many negative signs do we have? Well, we have 1 and we have 2, right? 2 is an even number, so our answer is going to be positive, right? So now we just multiply like normal. So what's 10 times 2? 20. What's 7 times 3? 21. Okay, so our answer is positive 20 over 21. Okay, what if you had a negative mixed number? So what if we had negative 5 and 1/4 times 2/5? Okay, so remember, we have to turn this improper number into a mixed fraction. So how do you do that? Well, when your mixed number is negative, there's two ways to do it. This first way is the way I prefer to do it. So I just ignore the negative sign at first, and then I just convert this mixed fraction like normal. Okay, so we just multiply these two, right? So 4 times 5, and then we're going to add that number, right? So we're going to do 4 times 5 plus 1. And then we're going to put that all over this denominator, right, which is just 4. So what's 4 times 5? That's 20. And then what's 20 plus 1? That's 21 over 4. But remember, our fraction is negative, right? So we keep the negative. Okay, so that's the first way of doing it. And then the second way of doing it is keeping this negative number. And then up here, instead of adding, we're going to subtract. Okay, so it'd look like this. So 4 times negative 5. Okay, so 4 times negative 5. And then we're going to subtract 1, okay? Minus 1. And then same thing, we're going to keep it over the same denominator, which is 4. Now, what's 4 times negative 5? Well, that's negative 20. And then what's negative 20 minus 1? That's negative 21 over 4. Okay, so just two different ways of doing the same thing. Just use whichever way makes more sense to you. Okay, but now we can rewrite this mixed number, right, as a fraction. So let's rewrite it. So we got negative 21 over 4 times 2/5, right? And again, how many negative signs do we have? Well, we just have the 1, which is odd, so our answer is going to be negative, right? So what's 21 times 2? That's 42. What's 4 times 5? That's 20. Can we reduce this? Yes, both numbers are divisible by 2, which is the same thing as just cutting it in half. Okay, so remember we have our negative sign. Half of 42 is 21. half of 20 is 10. And this is as reduced as possible. Okay, so negative 21/10. All right, guys, so that's how you can multiply any two fractions together, whether they're proper, improper, or a mixed number. And I broke down some positive and negative examples for you, so hopefully that made sense to you. If you found the video helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, let me know why you didn't. And let me know what you would like me to add or change or fix going forward. So hopefully that helped. And in the next video, I'm now going to teach you how to divide any fractions. So if you need to check that out, definitely check it out. And I will see you there.